So this time we're making a wooden tribute American flag. We're going to be using some of our spare wood that we have from some of the other projects we've done. I'll get into explaining the stripes and how we're doing the tribute. Going to be a little bit different. Some of the other ones we've seen between myself, my wife, our siblings, and kind of have a wide representation we wanted to show. So we'll be showing military, police, firefighter, and then also we're doing something a little different with that stripe. And how we separate them with the puzzle pieces to show support for autism. So let's get started. So I made this quick little calculator when I was doing the drawing based off the wood that I have and the dimensions the flag is supposed to be. There's specific guidance if you want to follow it, which I do, on the ratio of the stars and the width of the stripe and the side of the flags and all that stuff. So I made a little calculator, and based off the wood that I have, I can make stripes about 1 3/4 inches thick, and that makes about a 2 foot by 4 foot flag, which is a good size that we want. So we're going to go ahead and get the wood stripped and cut it all down to size and get it lined up and make sure it all fits good. I'm going to make the star field. I'm using 3D printer, just a little stencil basically, the stars, but it's going to be in the kind of the precise ratio that needs to be. The stars are going to be the right size and the right spacing. So I'm going to make a stencil for that, and then I'll just pencil it in, and then we're going to go and Dremel drill them out. Now it's all laid out. We're going to use no stain on the white stripes, and we're going to use this dark ebony stain for the normally red stripes and the blue. But now we're just going to go ahead and sand everything down and then get it stained up. So now for the kind of the tribute stripe, we're going to separate it all out with the puzzle pieces. So I'm going to space them all out how they're supposed to, and then kind of freehand the puzzle pieces, and then I'll use the Dremel and follow the lines that I make, and that's how we'll go with that. So the puzzle pieces are all done, turned out pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and separate them, the tape, and then we're going to use, we did a few tests. What we liked the best was spray paint mixed with this gray stain, because it kind of still let the grain pop through without completely covering it up. So I'm going to spray some spray paint into the plate, mix it with some stain, and then apply it kind of like a stain. We'll do a couple coats just to the right color, and then it should look good. Alright, now the paint and the stain are all done. It turned out pretty well. We like how it separated. Decided to fill in all the cracks too, or all the edges of the puzzle pieces, but it turned out pretty good. Alright, now the Starfield is done printing, and kind of the Starfield is ready to go. The stain is dry, so we're going to go ahead and trace them all out, and then go through with the Dremel and cut them all out. Should work pretty good. Alright, so now it's all ready to be mounted together. I'm going to make a little bit of a frame. It's going to be no frame around the edges, so I'm going to mount it on the back. So we'll go ahead and make those. After it's all put together, I'll do one last coat of seal. We'll paint the sides of it, paint it a kind of a thin coat of black so it kind of looks like a stain. We'll go around the edges, and then we'll do one last coat of seal to seal everything up, looking good. Alright, so now we're installing the frame. Do these three, end up only using 3 of them. I made 4 just in case, but we're going to do these 3. Did pilot holes so it didn't split any of the wood, and then made sure the screws are the right length and screwed into the back of it. I have them kind of cinched together and butted up against on one edge, so if I'm just kind of attaching them one by one and pushing them so they're all nice and snug and flush and square. We'll go through and do one by one until it's all done. Alright, here's a little bit of a sneak peek. Really all that's left to do is the painting the edges and seal it, but this is what it's going to look like for the most part, and then you got to create the mount, so we'll do that. Alright, so I'm just going to do a pretty simple just hanging mount. We're going to use a 2x6 and just cut it at a 45-degree angle, pretty much right halfway through, so you'll have 2 two pieces that are equal size, and you mount them so that when you hang it on the wall, there's kind of a ledge on each piece to grab onto. So you hang one on the wall. I'm going to do three. So three on the wall in the same place and three on the back of the flag. And all I have to do is basically rest it down, and it'll grab and keep it in place pretty good. Alright, so we painted the edges, and then we're going to do one last, we're taping off to paint the edges, and then we're going to do one last coat of seal, and they'll be ready to mount. Now we're going to mount it up. It's just finding studs if there are any in the right place, otherwise using some and drywall bolts, and get this mounted to the wall. Alright, now it's all done. I really like how it turned out. It was a pretty simple project. A lot of little pieces to come together, but you could do the stars any number of different ways. You could do the stripes any number of different ways. You could attach them a bunch of different ways. It's just the way that we chose. But overall, it was pretty easy and came out pretty good. But all in all, we like it.